Hey, Free Knowledge. Welcome. Today's video, we're going to talk about some art, digital art, more specifically ProCreate. For those that don't know, ProCreate is one of my favorite, probably my favorite drawing app for the iPad, and also paint app. In my opinion, it's far better than using a pencil or paintbrush manually because you can do so much with it. That's what I want to share with you today, is all the cool features within ProCreate. Before we begin looking at the ProCreate app, I want to share with some of you the hardware. Now, I've tried other hardware such as the Surface Pro from Microsoft, and they have apps such as the Sketchbook, and their pen is really good. They're on version 5, I believe, and the nibs on the pen are really, really spectacular, and they've been at it for a while. Also, the Android, I've tried the Samsung pen, and that one doesn't require a battery. And the pen on that is decent, but not quite as good. And the Surface does require a AAA battery. Today I want to demo the Apple pen, and it seems to me that Apple generally gets the design right. They may take longer to implement. This is their first version, but their first design is usually the best. So here's the Apple pen. It goes for $99, and what I have on it is a magnet. It doesn't really take away from the look and the feel. You can get this on Amazon for $10, but you still have the same look and feel, the weight of the pencil, because that's really important. You want it to feel like an actual pencil. So I'll take this off and show you. So here's the actual pencil, and you can recharge it through the iPad, but also it comes with this adapter that you slip on the top. And I found that can be easily lost. So you can buy adapters that will snap on to the pen, or you can I bought this that I just put over the top. And what I do when I'm not using it, so here's the iPad, is it will just, whoops, not a good example. Stuck it on the wrong spot. So you can stick it there. Should be able to stick it up here if you find the right place. Generally it works the best right there. And then also with the, so this here is the iPad Pro 12.9 inch. This is the iPad Pro I would recommend because it's the normal size of a piece of paper. When you're thinking about drawing, the iPad 9 inch isn't quite as big. It's more mobile, so if you're going to take it places. But if you actually want to really have the truest experience, the iPad 12 is the way to go in my opinion. So here's a case, and I'd recommend at least the case like this because you can stand it up, slight tilt or all the way up, which you'll find that you're quite useful when you're drawing. And then this pencil carrier, because you can have it magnetic, but when you are carrying it around, you cannot really, you might lose it. So I put it in the case here. So that's kind of the accessories of the iPad. And this is the 2015 version. They have a new version that came out in 2017. This one I bought, you can buy used for, they're new for about $800. You can buy used for $400 or $500 for the bigger version. And it's really spectacular for an iPad experience. I'll show you some of the first basic features before I get into ProCreate. So let's get into that. Okay, so here you can see the iPad, the case here, I folded down, which gives you a tilt. This is really nice when you're drawing. You can also flip it around here, which is really useful when you're probably watching YouTube videos. So that's what the case is nice for. So when you're drawing, I find this is the most useful. Okay, let's get started with learning ProCreate. First, I'll show you one of the best features with iOS 11 on the iPad Pro. This is, I believe it's only for iPad Pro users. So if we open ProCreate, what we can do is slide up, and you'll get your dock here, and then take YouTube and overlay the app. Now, if you're a beginning artist, one of the best ways to learn is follow on YouTube. So what they have done here is, this is called overlay. You can also move it over to this side, And then you can also drag and move it up, and this is what's called split screen. With split screen, you can make it bigger, smaller, like this. There is also one called Picture-in-Picture, which is not available for YouTube yet, but other apps, like I've heard Vimeo or other apps on the iPad, do support it. So hopefully there'll be support with YouTube soon. There are some workarounds, but I feel that this works pretty well. So you could be searching. So for example, here's the full screen as well. Take it out of full screen. How to draw an eye, search that. That's probably one of the most popular ways to get started. People want to know how to draw an eye. And then you can play here and follow along. So as you're going along, you can draw. So I found that is really, really helpful. Let me show you also, if you want to get rid of it, just slide it down and then you can slide it over and that'll get rid of it. So ProCreate is $10 on the App Store, and I found that it is the most premier application available. There's other products like Notes that are really, really useful. And then there's other Adobe products, but I feel that if you want to be the best for $10 is really, really a good deal. Okay, when you first start, you're going to go into your gallery. And they have predefined images here that you can use to draw on. You can also import your own photos. You can take your own photos. And you can create your own canvas. So they have predefined sizes. One is the screen size. You can create your custom. And in this demo, I've just done the screen size. A couple other things you can do here with the images is you can slide over, and you can have a delete, a duplicate, a share option. Another thing that you can do is you can drag and drop these just like on iOS icons, and that would create a folder. Like what I have here is called a stack. And so here's just some blank ones that I've done. So let's create a new one. Okay, here we are. So to get started, you can pinch to zoom, or you can rotate the canvas like this. And then here's some, I'll show you some of the gestures. It has palm rejection, so you can put your palm all over and it's not going to detect any of the palm, or at least it shouldn't. Sometimes you can have a problem. So I'll show you how to get past that. So if you do have a problem, take 2 fingers and double tap and that undoes, or 3 fingers and double tap and that redos. So that's a couple of the gestures that I find really, really useful. So up here, start here on the right, we have the color palettes. And here's the 4 different options. You have your disk, you have your classic view, you have your values, you can change the RGB, and you can create your own custom palettes to quickly refer to. So that's pretty basic, simple stuff. Let me show you one of the most requested features, and that is the paint bucket. People ask, does it have paint bucket? Well, sure. All you do is drag and drop it over, and there you go. Now you have the paint bucket. So here are the layers, and this is, for any artist, you know that this is one of the most important, useful tools. A lot of the other products have these, like Adobe. Layers are just ways to create your foundation and build from there. And then if you mess up or you don't like the shading, you could just delete a layer. So for example, this is layer 1, layer 2. I'll draw another shape over the top of it. And then go to layers, you can turn them on and off. And it's just a way to build them together. Now, one of the features you can do is you pinch these together and it will merge the layers. I have heard that you can add a layer by pinching outward. I have heard that, but I cannot do that. At the time of this recording, I'm version 4, which is the latest, and it does not work for me. So if it works for you, comment on the video, let me know how you did it. So these are some basic layers, and then over here, if you slide over, you have the option to delete, duplicate, lock the layer. And then this check mark turns it on and off. And then you can tap on it and you get the different options. Let me show you Alpha Lock. Alpha Lock is really nice. Let's pick a different color to show you. And as you can see here, when I'm coloring outside the line, but it doesn't allow me to do that. So that's Alpha Lock, which is a really nice feature. So that's about it for layers that we'll cover. So let's cover some of these other tools. We'll start with the brush. So the brush, there are so many options now. As I was talking about, this is much more powerful than just pencils or brushes. You have so many options. You can customize these. You can send them to your friends. You can use them from other artists. And as you can see here, there's a ton of them here that you can choose from. And you can just play around with this and have fun. So over here is your paintbrush size and your opacity. Opacity is meaning darkness, and paintbrush size here. Let's pick another one for fun. You can kind of preview these. And then also you can customize it by going here. So you can create your own. If you wanted a light tail and then a darker, so you can see that these are pressure sensitive. So let me show you really fun about the pencil. So here, if you're drawing, pick a new color here. Let's do a new layer. You see the darkness and the lightness. And what also is nice, is really great about the Apple Pencil, not all of the stylists on the market do this, and that is shading. And it allows, I think, up to 30% degree angle of shading, which is really, really nice. So these are the brushes. Here's where you customize each one of the brushes. And you have so many options within that. So that's a really helpful tool. Here is the smudge tool. So I'll just show it to you. Well, we'll go to this layer. And we'll pick a different color. And go back to the smudge. We're going to pick a different brush here. Yeah, so that's kind of what the smudge looks like. If you're don't want to paint or draw or erase, you kind of have in between is a smudge. Then here's your erase, and as you tap on it, you'll have the same option. So you're going to essentially use the same kind of brush, just the reverse. So think of it as, instead of painting, you're just using white or clear. Okay, that's really all the options here up at the top right. And then I showed you here. And ProCreate is really great about keeping the canvas to a minimum, giving you the most real estate in order to draw. A lot of them are so clunky, they have so many options. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Sophistication. So here is a selection tool. Let's go to this menu over here. And by default, it selected everything on this layer. And what you can do is a 3-finger swipe. And you have a menu. So you can cut, copy, and paste. Let's cut and paste. And then it brings it up. You can move it around. You can twist it around. You can do whatever you want with it. Here is the manual selection tool. So let's say I only want this area. Same option. There's your menu. Let's copy and paste. And when you do that, what happens is it actually creates a new layer as a new image. Okay, and then pretty simple there. Here, I won't go through too much detail on the adjustments. Maybe I'll create another video on some of the things you can do here. It gets more into the technique. Here are some of your settings. So here you have the option to insert your own file, kind of like what we did with the canvas, but this This is in the drawing itself. And then some of those cut, copy, and paste. Now here is really a new feature that I really enjoyed. It's called Perspective Guide. What you do is you turn that on and you edit Perspective Guide. And what you're looking at here is you can add up to 3. And this is basically a viewpoint. So we could put a couple in here if we wanted to. Then hit done. And then what you do is you come back over here to layers, click on your layer, and hit Perspective Assist. And then what you do is it's just like a ruler that it draws along that perspective. And it could be anywhere along the line. It could be in the middle of the line, it could be on the line, but as you can see, it keeps that perspective. Perspective is good for if you're thinking in terms of 3D and you're looking at a face and you want to detect the shadow, that's where you want the perspective to really help you out. So that's what that looks like here. I'll turn that back off. Done with that. And then here's options to share different formats. The video, this is really nice. ProCreate built in a time-lapse feature. So everything that I've drawn here is recorded and you can play it back in fast time, share that with your friends. Really cool features. There's a ton of YouTube videos out there of people sharing their time-lapse. And I won't get too much into the preference here, and then there's the help menu. So I think I've covered all the basics in learning ProCreate. Hopefully you kind of get a look and feel before, if you wanted to go buy it, rather than doing that, you kind of see what it's capable of. And yeah, I just have a lot of fun with this, and you really get immersed with it, and time goes by fast when you're doing it. I hope you liked this video. Please share this with your friends, and if you'd like to see more of these videos, you can subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting out new videos every Saturday, and it's been varying between music, art, and science. So just keep an eye on it. You can also join us on the Zoom conference every Saturday at 11 a.m. for art and music and 1 p.m. for science and tech. And then if you're here in the Portland area, we meet at the Tualatin Valley Fire Station 67. So if you did like this video, comment and add any suggestions, or if you dislike it, then dislike it. But I'd love to hear your feedback, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.